Our presentation is about fungi. I'm Haley.
And I'm Cassidy.
The distinguishing characteristics of fungi are they're eukaryotic and heterotrophic organisms. They're non-vascular and non-motile, which means they can't move. That's what non-motile means. Nuclei of the fungi are very small. Some are unicellular and then some are not. Some are multicellular. They reproduce by means of spores, and the reproduction is sexual or asexual depending on the specific type of fungi, and they have no embryonic stage. They produce a chemical called a pheromone, which leads to sexual reproduction in the fungi. They cannot perform photosynthesis, so they get their food by absorbing nutrients in their environment, and they store food in the form of starch. Some fungi are parasitic and can infect the host.
So the subgroups of fungi include the, I hope I say this right, but like the zygote but how you would say that would just be zygote fungi. That's what their more casual name is. And they are found on soil or decaying life. They reproduce sexually or asexually, and they have over 1,060 different species, including bread mold and fruit mold, like you see here on the strawberry. And then next up is sac fungi, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. They are found in almost any habitat, including freshwater, saltwater, and decaying life, and they reproduce asexually. And lastly is the club fungi, and they are found in freshwater or marine habitats, and they have sexual and asexual reproduction. So as you see, sorry, I was going to keep talking about
that was my bad.
So the sac fungi are kind of like, you can kind of tell why they're called sac fungi, because they're kind of shaped like a little sac, like they could hold something in them. And then the club fungi are what you would normally assume is fungi, like what you think looks like a mushroom. That's just what I was going to say.
Yeah, like Disney cartoon mushroom is the club fungi. Okay. Evolutionary history. So first, I have this little screenshot. This is the oldest fossil of fungi, and it was found near Gotland, Sweden. So starting from early fungi, this was about 600 million years ago. They originally diverted from other life. DNA evidence suggests that all forms of fungi originate from aquatic forms. So basically what they're saying here is that all life originated from inside the water until it moved on to land. Fossil records show that the fungi are ancient. The Tortubus protuberans are the oldest known fungi, which is what's in that picture over there. The oldest fossil found was aquatic and found near Sweden. Most were unicellular, and they probably lived on dead or decaying materials because, like I said earlier, they absorb their nutrients from what's around them. So, yeah. This is fungi on land about 460 million years ago. This is another example of that fungi that we talked about earlier, Saprotrophic fungi. Fungi moved from water to land about the same time as plants did. The land fossils of fungi date back 40 million years. And then about 250 million years ago, fungi becomes abundant. So around this time, we start to see more evidence of fungi across other areas in the world through our like rock and soil layers. We can tell that that's whenever they originated. At this time, fungi was also most likely the most dominant form of life on Earth. Present day fungal species. This little map / graph thing over here shows the levels of fungi and their prevalence across the Earth. So in 1991, there was estimated 1.5 million fungal species on Earth. They are the most understudied species because of their habitats. The estimated plant to fungi ratio that has been studied is 6 plants to 1 fungus. Most recently, it's been proposed that there are about 5.1 million fungal species on Earth. Some most prominent species include soil, marine, and freshwater fungi. The fungal species prominence. This graph over here shows the amounts of like their population and stuff. So there are currently only 3 species of fungi determined to be extinct. About 97% of the fungi species of the population are unknown due to data deficiency. So that's this big gray part of the pie graph. 1.9% of fungi species are considered nationally critical in terms of population. So slightly larger than the rest of the small spaces. 0.1% of fungi species experience a serious decline. You can't even see that one on the graph because it's such a small percent. 0.7% of fungi species are experiencing normal gradual declines, and then 0.3% of fungal species are sparsely populated, which means not found everywhere.
The ecological significance of fungi, the first point I wanted to make is that they decompose dead organisms by turning their nutrients into carbon-rich soil, which basically means that we talked about it a little bit in class, but fungi are actually more closely related to humans than they are to any plant. So they don't do photosynthesis like Hailey mentioned in the beginning. So that's why they're called nature's recyclers at times, because they actually break down other like living organisms and then will use their carbon and nutrients to use those nutrients for themselves. So they kind of recycle. And then the next thing is that they facilitate plant access to nutrients and water the same way they give it to themselves. They break down that dead life. They also break down and absorb minerals from rocks and water as well. And they also cycle carbon and other nutrients through water and through the atmosphere just by breaking it down as the life dies. And then lastly, they can even form mutualistic relationships with other organisms to provide nutrients to each other.
Topics of interest. This picture over here are some of the most useful medicinal mushrooms. There are other kinds, but I didn't include those. So human uses for fungi are food preparation of food. So sometimes like if you order a pizza, it comes with mushrooms on it. Pest control. Some of the mushrooms you can like plant outside or around your house and it'll deter certain pests. Production of citric acids, antibiotics, and human hormones. That is what is detailed in this picture over here. For example, lion's mane aids memory, focus, and digestive aid. And then medicine. I don't have an example of that, but I know that they are used for some of that. Fun facts. Fungi are in a kingdom of their own, but they're most closely related to humans than plants. We share about 50% of our DNA with them. The cell walls of lobsters and crabs have the same chemicals in them as fungi. Over 350 species of fungi are consumable. 216 species are considered hallucinogenic. And DNA studies show that there are thousands of different types of fungi found in a single soil sample. And this is our works cited.
That's all for you. Thanks, guys.